Hello, everyone. I'm Pamela Marshall at the Wellness Radio TV and at the Wellness Radio TV podcast. They say politics make strange bedfellows. Fellers. Sports brings a lot of people together. And one sport in particular, tennis, brought these two ladies together with a goal of winning. And they decided to write a book that they hope will inspire children and adults alike. The book is about empathy. The title of the book is Spotted Fish, Striped Fish. The authors and the illustrator for the book are my guests tonight, Miss Carrie Parker Warren and Jenny Dearinger. They are my guests. If you've ever been interested in writing a book, I hope you will stay tuned so that you can hear their very inspiring story. Stay with us. We will be right back. Hello, everyone. I'm Pamela Marshall at the Wellness Radio TV and at the Wellness Radio TV podcast. This is our show called Sisters of Wellness, sewing into the lives of others, and particularly the next generation. And these two beautiful ladies have written a book. The title of the book is Spotted Fish, Striped Fish. Please welcome Ms. Carrie Parker Warren and Jenny Dearinger. They are the author and illustrators of this incredible piece of literature for children. Ladies, thank you all so much for joining us for Sisters of Wellness.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So you guys met on the tennis court.
Yes.
And so you're playing tennis. How does it come up that we should write a book?
Well, the most talented one in this duo is Jenny. Jenny did the illustrations and she and I collaborated on the other part of the book. But Jenny is sort of like an all-around person because she's written several books before. I have done some small works with my family and with some other friends and students when I worked at PK. But Jenny has written several books. Jenny, why don't you tell them about those other books you have written, and then we can get down to the main event.
Well, Jenny, you are an author, as Ms. Carrie said, and you have like 8 or 9 other books that you've written.
That's correct. I have 9 other books that I've written. Well, actually, 8 books that I've written, and one was translated into Spanish. And illustrated.
So you did the illustration for this book.
Right.
So how did you guys start talking about books and writing a book?
Well, I had this idea for a book about collaboration. And when this occurred, when my thoughts occurred, it was about it was triggered by some of the social incidents, like the young lady that was killed in her bed with
Breonna Taylor,
and the young man that was killed because he was wearing a hoodie. And so it just struck me the systemic problems, not only with the police, but between the races in general. They could be kind of, if we introduce children earlier to getting along with each other, no matter what your outside skin looks like, then I thought maybe that would help the situation. And then any child should be able to wear a hoodie, and any child should be able to go to bed wherever they want and feel safe. And so that's basically why I wanted to write this book. And since Carrie was already my friend, I approached her and said that I have a book that I'd like to write, and would she help me with it? And the first draft was not very successful. So with a lot of input from Carrie, and Carrie had her friends look at it, we were able to change it into the book that is now.
So,
Mhm.
this book, as you talked about, tolerance and empathy, not only did you guys write this book, but you developed it into a story parent teacher guide that includes
Mhm.
worksheets. And I guess because Miss Carrie, you are a retired teacher, and you, Jenny, you've written other children's books. So it's
And
not just a book. Hmm?
my degree is in elementary education, and I have taught for many years
Ah.
too.
Mhm.
So do
Well,
you still teach?
y-
I'm not currently teaching now.
mhm.
Okay. Well, this sounds like a winning combination with
Mhm.
all of the teachers who have retired. Wouldn't it be great to get a lot of teachers together and have them write books based on their experiences and the things that they see that children need?
That is so true. And this book we sort of targeted the younger children and elementary, but this is a book that was written as we as adults should read, because sometimes we know what the issues are and we know what we have to do to get along and we know what we have to do to live in a wonderful world. Sometimes adults forget. So this book, I see it, there was so much going on during this time. We had leaders that were not promoting love and kindness and understanding among people. And I just wished, I was telling Jenny one day, I wish that we could send this book to Washington and have all of our readers read this book, because there's a message in it for children that we want to start early teaching them how to get along with their peers. But sometimes adults forget what life is all about. And this book could be a book for anyone to help them, carry on what we're supposed to be about as human beings.
And the book is titled Spotted Fish, Striped Fish. They're both fish, but they have different exterior, but they both live in the water and they are both in need of the exact same things in order to exist and coexist. Jenny, sometimes, and I hope you don't mind me pointing this out to you, but sometimes pointing it out, but sometimes white people feel intimidated by other white people for saying things that they know could help bring about unity. Did you experience any backlash or any conversations from anybody about you wanting to help co author this book to attack a very, very sticky issue in the United States of America today?
Uh, well, no, no, I have not. But oh well, I kind of have. But uh, I do want to say that my generation, uh, I guess it's all of our generations, but we're learning. We're constantly learning and evolving, and I don't want to be pigeonholed into the person that I was 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I want to continue with my own personal growth process, and definitely, uh, I make mistakes. Sometimes I stick my foot in my mouth, but I just want to say that it is learning. Empathy isn't just for children, as Carrie said. It's a process that we're all continually going through, and I want to give other white people the benefit of the doubt. Also, uh, we grew up in a place that was completely different than the one that we're living in now, and and I don't want to pigeonhole them either. So I want to give them room to grow also.
Mhm.
In the book, what is it? It's about empathy and understanding that because the outside is different does not mean that we don't breathe the same air. And that's really interesting. All breathing the same air. We're all exhaling carbon dioxide. And somehow we think we're different. Somehow there's some people who think they're special and different and better, but we all have to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
So what happens, what takes place between the two main characters in this storybook? The spotted fish and the striped fish.
Well, I want to bring a point up when we were talking Jenny and I were talking. We didn't just come up with spotted fish and striped fish. We had to think of something that was going to be uh, equal. I mean, uh, we didn't have a white fish, we didn't have a black fish, but we want the message that we want to give to children is that we are all we all deserve respect and kindness. It doesn't matter what color you are, if you have stripes or if you have spots, if you're black or white or red or green or yellow, you deserve respect. You reserve to treat up, and you know that you have to, in order to get along, you have to treat people with dignity and respect. And that was the story. It's not to have, I mean, a spotted fish could be any color, a striped fish could be any color. And we really did have a long discussion about what color were we going to make the fish.
Hmm.
Because we wanted it to be sort of equal, if you understand what I.
That's right. That is so strange, because the book is about the I wanted one fish to model the behaviors that we want attract people to behave like, and the other fish to learn from that modeling behavior. So striped fish teaches spotted fish how to share and help and care, which are three of the main points of empathy. And a, a spotted fish comes from a beautiful coral house, and striped fish comes from a dark and dingy cave. But striped fish is modeling all of the behaviors that we want children to learn from. And it is so interesting that I got a 1-star comment on Amazon.com, where the book is for sale, and it was oddly enough, it was a woman um, who identified herself with the spotted fish, and she said, "Not all people. This book is about fish." But she said not everybody who lives in a big house and can eat all of the food that they want to eat is bad. And so she gave my book a 1 rating star. So uh, my point is that uh, this struck a nerve with this person. And of course, no writer wants 1 star. But what it tells me is that there's, this lady, hopefully she's learning from this. And the thing about, um, what is it? No press is bad press.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna take that 1 star and think, well, I hit a nerve with her, and even though I didn't want 1 star, it resonates with this person, and hopefully she's going to turn around and get my message or our message.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
That there are, I don't want to say there are so many people like that, but we have to realize that there are still people left in the world that think a certain way. And I don't care what you write or what they read or what the examples are in this world, some people are going to still not think in a positive way. They're going to give you some negative vibes, and I suppose that's just life, that people don't understand sometimes. When you're trying to give one message, they always take it in a different way. So when you are a writer, I think that that's going to happen. But I think the masses of people, because the people that have purchased our book and the classrooms that have taught this concept to our children, I think that it's a wonderful thing when they're thinking and getting positive and trying to prepare our young people for the future. Because I don't care what color you are, we are here to stay. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be here for a long, long time. So we need to learn how to live together.
Yeah, thank you, ladies, for this work that you're doing. And I have at the bottom of the screen how people can get this book on Amazon. If you'll just screenshot, it is Jennifer's name, JENIFERDEARINGER. Go to Amazon, www.amazon.com/author, then /Jenny's name. Um, Everyone who's watching, I really appreciate you watching. Um, Tanja, my friend Tanja, says good evening.
Oh,
I hope that as we are coming up on the holiday season, and I hope that more and more people will decide to give children books with themes like this, because on Sisters of Wellness, it is our desire to teach uh, anyone who wants to be taught, but in particularly the next generation. Because if they don't see a change in us, and if we're not helping to um, put them on a path, then we've all been here for naught. I mean, it is so wonderful that you all have taken this on. And Miss Carrie, as you said, this is a book for adults as well. So put this on your Christmas list, everybody. And you can buy enough of these books and donate to a classroom
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
because of the guide. So that was your cue, ladies. Y'all were supposed to talk about the guide that helped the teacher.
Well, I do want to mention that I wrote 3 worksheets about empathy. Empathy is a very complex emotion. You have to, basically, you have to understand yourself, and then you have to understand your response, and then be able to transfer that feeling to think somebody else is feeling this, and this is they're going to have a very similar response, and what you would do to make their world better. So it's complex. So that's what the worksheets in the back are about. It's
Hmm.
about building.
I
The,
can. Oh, go ahead, Jenny. I'm sorry.
no, I don't have anything. Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking that many, many years ago, because I retired as an administrator, secondary administrator at PK Young, and we had a program at the school that another colleague and I went all over the United States teaching this concept,
Huh.
and so successful with this responsibility training, we called it, to have a teaching component with our presentation. And we would go over to public housing areas and all around the United States teaching this concept, getting students to be responsible for their own behavior. And having a teaching component was so well received when parents and teachers have something that they can follow, consistently follow. And it doesn't mean that you have to have um, a formal arena to teach this. You can just teach it on the playground. There are so many opportunities to get this message across. Is for having empathy, and that teaching component at the end can be very successful and helpful if you're really interested in doing something beyond just reading a story.
Well, there are a lot of people who are watching. We thank you all for watching on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. Ernestine Jenkins says, good evening, everyone.
Hello.
McLinda, who is a mom, a grandmother, a sister, and she says, good evening to everyone as well. all of you, when you think about this empathy, and the obvious here is, as you mentioned, Jenny, about the races, but there are also children that have either physical disabilities, they may have learning disabilities, and we need to have empathy for those children as well.
True.
That is
Very
true.
true.
I have a friend who is a second grade teacher in California, and she actually used spotted fish and striped fish for. She did a whole unit on empathy building out of this book,
Wow.
and she had each child pick a fish that they identified with, and because there are several fish in here, but these are the two main characters. So
Mhm.
she had and she did a lot of talking about filling the well, is what she calls it in her classroom, and
Mhm.
making each other feel good. And
Jenny, can you read something like a page, a section, a page from the book, just to give people an idea
oh,
of
sure,
what it is? And I'm sure this message, as you pointed out, Miss Carrie, that this message is for all ages. So if you are a grandparent, great grandparent, if you are a person in a church and you would like to tie this into perhaps the biblical principles of empathy and I am my brother's keeper, this
Mhm.
would be great for Sunday school classes, so people can really, really get this. We got to get this, people. All
Yeah.
of this divisiveness is killing us individually and then collectively as communities and as a country.
Yeah. And we one other thing before you answer that question, Jenny, we did get this book out. We gave each charter school in this county a copy of this book, and it's also we got it put into our public library here in Alachua County.
Oh,
And
congratulations.
that
yes,
Miss
and
Carrie did great. Uh-huh.
beg pardon.
You did a great job, but it's only in it's in the main library. So if more and more people request it, they'll buy more books.
They'll buy more books,
So
and
wherever you're watching across the country, go to your library and
yes.
ask your librarian to look for it. Go to bookstores. And
Hmm.
I think that people don't know that this is a great way for us to get more authors, and particularly, I think women who are writing these books, women who have been moms, women who have been teachers are still teachers. And hey, Anna Maria in Memphis, Tennessee, we used to play tennis together. So, and these are some more tennis players
Hmm.
here in Gainesville, Florida, that I connected with. She says it sounds like a good book that could be used in the corporate setting.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. And we did get it in one. We I did talk to. There's a church school that after school program. I did. We did make sure that they got a copy of the book too. But we've been really pushing the book. I've gone to Ocala and talked with the librarian there, and so Jen and I have, really worked at trying to get this message out. It's a great message.
So,
Yes,
Anne
it is.
Marie, I don't know if you're still playing tennis or not, but keep playing. Because Miss Carrie, can I tell them how old you are?
Oh, absolutely.
Miss Carrie's 81 years old, everybody, and she is still playing tennis at least 4 days a week. And she can beat me.
Me.
She can beat you too.
Oh yes.
I,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She 81, Anne Marie. Yeah. So keep playing.
keep moving.
Everybody get out and do something, and then keeping your brain working in authoring this book, Ms. Carrie. What a blessing it is that the two of you teamed up, where love means zero, but love between the two of you is equaling so much more for the people whose lives are going to be touched in this.
Thank you.
Very
We
So, Jenny, you're going to read a part of the book for us?
Oh yes. Well, I did want to say that if in the parent teacher guide that I do mention the golden rule, which is a very good principle for everybody to go by. And that's do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Yes.
It's very important. All right. So, as I was saying, spotted fish lives in a beautiful coral mansion, and striped fish doesn't have much in his dark cave, but his parents really love him, and they taught him the size of a fish's home or the pattern on his scales was not as important as sharing, helping, and caring. So Mrs. Catfish is the teacher. Uh, Sorry about that, I skipped a page. Spotted fish and striped fish met on the first day of school. At snack time, the teacher, Mrs. Catfish, handed each little fish 3 crackers. Spotted fish gobbled up his crackers. He wanted more, so he took striped fish's cracker. Mrs. Catfish said, "Spotted fish, you may not take crackers from striped fish. How would you feel if striped fish took your crackers?" Confused, Spotted Fish said, "But I thought I was special and I could have whatever I wanted. I wanted Striped Fish's cracker." Striped Fish said with compassion, because he's modeling the behavior, "Fish are fish no matter the pattern on their scales. Here, I'll share." And he gave Spotted Fish one of his crackers.
Ah,
So
how nice.
that's what we want every child to learn.
Well, your publicist, Barbara Bachman, said in reference to diversity and handicap, Jenny also has a book that addresses these issues. Together, we are fierce. Thank you, Barbara, for mentioning that.
Yes, I do. This is a great book. You mentioned children with disabilities and diversity and less represented groups of people. That's what this book is about.
Well,
Mhm.
that's why I like to do this show, is because we learn so much, and and the genuine concern that you ladies, as moms, as educators, as sisters on and off the tennis courts, it is so important for these stories to be heard. There are other things that are out there that are happening, but these stories need to be heard. The fact that regardless to what makes headline news, that there are people like Jenny and Carrie who are working hard to make a difference, one book at a time. And this particular book, Striped Fish, Spotted Fish, Striped Fish, is an example of that, and a wonderful book, children's book about empathy. Ladies, I really appreciate you all joining us. And as you can see on the bottom of the screen, that's where you can go and get a copy of the book. A great book as you are preparing for the holidays, great book for birthdays. Give children something that will stick with them for the rest of their lives. And I think these lessons that are being learned in the book, like this book right here, Spotted Fish, Striped Fish. Ladies, thank you very much.
And thank you for having us.
And yes, I do want to say thank you, Pamela, for giving us a platform to discuss our book.
Well, you are so welcome. I'm glad to be able to do it. I am the 11th of 13 children, and one of the things that I remember, second to how good my mother cooked, she loved to cook. But next to that was the fact that this woman with an 8th grade education read to her children all of the time. And we saw my mother reading the newspaper. We saw her, most importantly, reading the Bible. But she read to us all the time. So anytime that you think that you don't have anything that you can think of to do with young people, regardless to whether you birthed them or there's some children who are a part of your life via some other groups, read
Hmm.
and have a book that they can touch.
True. And you know what, Pamela, I have a sister who is 3, and she tells the story now that my aunt was a teacher and she never gave us anything but books, 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 books. And I tell students, right, children right now, young children, I ask them, do they like to read? Because reading is learning, and reading will make you much more intelligent. You go on, you can take a trip around the world with a book. So
Absolutely.
yes, they
Oh,
are.
I should mention that we're going to be at the Sunshine State Book Festival also. So in person, and anybody can stop by in Gainesville, Florida, and pick up the book.
January 27th and 28th of 2023.
That's true. Uh huh.
Yeah, reading is really important. I told my son, don't marry a girl who doesn't like to read because she won't teach your children to read.
That is so true.
He didn't listen to me, but I did tell him that. I remember I remember this one little girl, I guess he was probably about in the 8th grade, and I was taking him to the movies, and I said to her, I asked her, I said, "Sweetheart, do you like to read?" She said, "Do I like to read?" I said, "Yes, do you like to read?" She said, "I know how." Well, I was like, "Brennan, we can't keep her. She doesn't like to read."
Yeah,
And it's
reading.
very limiting for people who don't
Yes,
want to expand. As you said, Miss Carrie, you can go around the world from the pages of a book.
absolutely.
And we can solve a lot of our social issues and our discord from the pages of a book. And this book, Spotted Fish, Striped Fish, authored by two of my tennis friends, Jenny Dearinger and Carrie Parker Warren. I hope you all will get this book for your collection. Keep one at your house so that when kids come, you'll have something to read to them, and then add it to your list of gift for giving. We thank you for joining us for this edition of Sisters of Wellness, this show where we try to live out the scripture in Titus that says older women are to teach the younger women. And so, with this show and our desire to educate and inspire, we hope we did just that today.
We
I do
did.
thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you on Thursday for the Timbuktu Report. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. If you're watching on Facebook or LinkedIn, I certainly appreciate you sharing this story with many, many other people. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pamela Marshall at the Wellness Radio TV and at the Wellness Radio TV podcast. Remember, there is healing at the well. Make it a fantastic moment. We'll see you next time.